Oh, this stuff drives me nuts. After editing 650 videos for my 2 YouTube channels, I've come to learn that I pay more attention when I'm watching TV and movies and other YouTubers, and it's not necessarily the content that they're producing. And after watching this video, you're going to be in the same world as me. But look, the benefit to you here is you're going to learn from my years of experience of doing this, and you'll have a checklist of things to check over before you upload a video. Like I said, I've done 650 videos across 2 channels now, and there's a lot of things I've learned the hard way. There's some things I've learned from watching even TV and movies where the editor just screwed this up royally. I say royally because that's because they're getting paid for it. I'm not getting paid for this. This is just things that I have learned along the way. So let's get started. Number 1, and these are in no particular order, is if you're going to do a montage of sorts or sped up footage, and I see this on small channels, big channels, it seems to just afflict everybody, remove the audio or disable the audio. That's all you need to do, especially if you've got a music track running. Just disable it and move on with life. It will make the video that much better to watch. I can't tell you how many times I'm watching a video and it's like, now, if it's intentional and you mean to do it, I get that. You want to sound like Mickey Mouse or what's the chipmunk's name? Leave a comment below. What's the chipmunk with the high-pitched voice? If you want it to sound like that, fine. Leave the audio in there. I've done this one myself a couple of times, and I always kick myself after the fact. Number 2, you see the black bars around me somewhere? Yeah, I've moved myself off frame. It's to prove a point. When you're doing your editing, add a solid color generator or footage underneath. Like now, see this is a solid color behind me? You can see that you're off frame because I use DaVinci Resolve and most other editors have a dark gray or black background behind your footage. Now, if you're just moving stuff willy-nilly, you're doing a zoom, sometimes it moves out, you won't notice it. And if you put a solid color generator on it, then you've seen it, right? You've got the solid color generator, then you've got your footage. It's easy to work around. It just takes a minute. And trust me, it drives me nuts when I see it. It doesn't have to be this way. Our 3rd tip falls into the same category, and that's make sure your clips are butted up against each other. It's not a dirty joke. It's serious. This is very serious stuff, right? Anyway, look, if you're fading to black, you're waiting for the next beat of your music to hit. I get it. That's intentional. But otherwise, it just looks sloppy. Harsh words, but we're going to roll with it. Number 4 is to boop the like button, because I'm surely being informational today, and I deserve the like, right? Show me some love. Show me some caring. You do care that I'm trying to teach you, right? No, the real 4th tip is do a review before you render and after you render your video. Now, when you do the review prior to rendering, this gives you time to double check that everything's spelled right in your titles. Your titles have text in them. I see a lot of channels that have an issue with putting the text they want in the title. It just says sample title here. But it also allows you to take notes. You can open up Word or Notepad or whatever, and you can type in the chapters. Like this video description has chapters in it. Yeah, it'll show you how to do it for your own videos, but you can write down the chapters. You can take a note of the music tracks that you're using in case you need to give attribution for those. The post-render is to make sure that your editing software didn't foul it up during the render. I've had this happen before. Audio glitches, video glitches, text not spelled right. Again, spell check. It's not part of editing software, but it probably should be. And making sure that your text is there as you want it and it's in the right position and it's not cut off. These are all things I notice quite a bit. They drive up my stress level when I watch them because I know how easy they can be fixed. Hopefully you can learn how to easily fix them in your own videos. Right. Moving on. If your face is visible, make sure that the audio and video are synced. I kind of concentrated on the pronunciation of those words because I think it's important. When I do a motovlog, I'm using 2 cameras. My face is visible in one. My helmet cam is the one that gets the audio and it faces forward. It doesn't face me. The other camera has to be synced up with it. It's not that easy sometimes, but I have a multicam tutorial right here. Go check it out, then come back and we will continue. But it's very important because when the audio and video is out of sync, this drives me and a lot of other viewers nuts. I don't know how people don't notice this when they're doing their pre-render review. Maybe they're not doing a pre-render review and they ought to be. Or a post-render review. See, this is all tied together. This is years of knowledge that I'm cramming into like one 10-minute video. Maybe it's less than 10 minutes. I have no idea at this point. But what I do know is that if you're doing color grading or a blur of some sort, it really helps if it's lined up with the clip that it's on. Yep, I did a color grade there and it was not lined up properly. I have seen this one in many, many TV shows. I don't know why they don't do it, but if you need like just to bring the shadows up a little bit in an adjustment clip, make sure the adjustment clip lines up with the clip that it's affecting, and you can even fade it out with the handles in Resolve. I showed handles in this video, and it'll allow things if the exposure changes to fix, you know, the picture, make it look better. I've done this in many videos. And now to our last 2 tips. Yes, the last 2, 1 and 1. They're not actually about editing, but they will save you time in editing because they're about recording. First of all, make sure your camera settings are right. Right here is subjective. It's based on the use case. But if you have a mirrorless camera like this one or my Nikon, they have different modes on them. This one doesn't have a dial. I'm looking for a dial. It's not there. But if you set it to aperture priority mode, for instance, like on my Nikon, I use that for all my outdoor walking around stuff and non-talking heads. And I have certain settings for that will get me a better picture for that. Now, I have on the Nikon, I have the manual mode set for doing a talking head like this. So I have the right frame rate, yada, yada, yada. It's all set up the way I want it. And then if I go to record something else, how many times have I forgotten, and probably you, to reset those settings? It happens a lot with GoPros because you go into the different modes. Let's say you're doing an action shot.
I totally forgot to set the Hero 10 there back in to max lens mod mode. That is really hard to say. Max lens mod mode. There, got it out. Yeah. Steve Carell.
Well, you got to remember to turn the max lens mode back on. Otherwise, the settings won't be right. So you will save yourself a lot of time in editing if you get the camera settings right before you do the recording. And I'm going to use my GoPro Hero 12 again as a prop for the last tip, which is check your mic. See the back of this? You can see that the audio level meter is working, so it has a microphone attached to it. And most mirrorless cameras also have this audio level meter on them. I'm looking at the preview screen over here. It's showing me that I'm recording audio just fine. You need to know that your external mic is, in fact, plugged in properly and working. So test that out before you're doing your recording. And again, it will make the editing a lot easier. And that, my friend, is an 8-tip checklist that you can apply to your editing and recording and get better quality videos, because if the videos are of higher quality, people are going to see that. They may not know what they're seeing. They may not pay attention to those details like you and I do, but deep down in their lizard brain, it's paying attention, and it's going to notice that, hey, this person did it right and I like this stuff. So they're going to watch longer. They're going to watch other videos, and they're probably going to subscribe. So profit, or at least some sort of growth. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, boop the like button for me. Go watch that video. Maybe hit the subscribe thing. Do all that YouTube stuff. I'm kidding. Just go watch that one next. You'll subscribe eventually. Yeah. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.